Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs. So let's get to it. Alright, you guys, I am looking over my notes and I got a lot of, I guess it's not all politics, but I got a lot of, alright, you guys, let's get to it. First story up, we have to send a rest in peace to Senator John McCain, who passed earlier this week. Actually, one day after he announced that he will not be receiving any more treatment for his, I think it's called a glioblastoma. He had a malignant brain tumor, brain cancer in essence. And the day after he announced that he would not be taking any more treatment, he did then pass. And I guess they had realized that them continuing this treatment was only prolonging the inevitable. So tomorrow, the senator of Arizona will be laid to rest at a funeral in the U.S. Capitol. He will lie in state there. We expect former presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama to eulogize him at this funeral. There have been a number of memorials for him this past week, however, and just yesterday Joe Biden spoke at a memorial for him. A very touching speech, one where he pointed out basically that there is a new era arising. Okay, you can pretty much separate the world of politics into two halves: the old school and the new school. The old school, as far as Joe Biden was concerned, is a group of people who, although they may not agree on the business of politics at hand, their perspective and outlook was to make sure that they looked out for the betterment of all people, all Americans, and that politicians of the John McCain and Joe Biden era simply were doing what they thought was best, what they thought was right. Today, I think it's evident that we all see much less bipartisanship. Some people would even say that bipartisanship does not even exist any longer, and it's turned into something where the betterment of the haves are looked out for and the rest of us are around to fend for ourselves and pretty much not being able to rely on your stupid ass president to make the best decisions for everybody. In short, many people feel that the current administration does not care, but we are not even here to talk about y'all stupid ass president. We are here to talk about the man who was prisoner of war, a naval aviator who was shot down, held for 5.5 years, endured torture, endured enemy propaganda, was treated horribly until the point where they could finally break him down to sign a confession. No one believed the confession, of course, but most people agreed that John McCain is a hero, a war hero for what he had done for this country. Whether you agree or not agree with John McCain, we all can respect a person like this. Once he returned to the United States, he entered his running into the political world, starting with, as a state representative and climbing himself up, started with the Reagan era, and then became the senator of Arizona and has been there ever since. Most of us did not know about John McCain, including myself, until he ran against President Barack Obama. He was a Republican hopeful. I think his downfall was in choosing the idiot Sarah Palin. We all saw how she completely demolished his presidential race, and many people say is the reason why he lost that race. In retrospect, she wasn't the best choice, but many people call him a maverick because he is the person who will follow what he believes is right and does what he thinks he should do. I guess these things sometimes work out and sometimes don't. I know that I had a certain opinion of John McCain, not necessarily the most favorable type, because when you looked at him, he's a Republican, he's this white man, and you just automatically think the worst. My mind was changed when I saw him, even back then when it first happened, when he was at a town hall meeting and there were some uninformed white people there who were saying that they were afraid of Barack Obama, that they didn't trust him, that he was a bad person, that he was going to do this country harm. And I was I admired the fact that even in his political race and him trying to win this election, that he made it very clear that absolutely not. Barack Obama and I have some fundamental political disagreements. However, he is a stand-up gentleman. He is a good person. He is not here to do any harm. We just have our differences. And when he said that, I just was like, okay. Yeah, I won't agree with a lot of the things that he says. However, I just can trust that this man, you know, is trying to do the right thing. So, and then just recently when he was being relied on to have this vote, I don't even remember what the vote was for. Somebody remind me. However, he was the last person to vote. They expected him to vote in favor of something that your stupid ass president was hoping for, and he went against it. Okay, just marked it off like, that's it, I'm sorry, I can't agree with what's not right to me. Okay, and when he did that again, I was just like, yeah, this is a good person here. So can't do anything but respect John McCain for everything that he has achieved in his life, what he has done for this country. He was 81 years old. He leaves behind his wife, Cindy McCain, of 38 years. This is his second wife. He leaves a total of 7 children behind, 2 with his former wife, you know, some adopted children in there as well, but 5 with his current wife, including his adopted children. It would be Cindy, Megan, Bridget, John the Fourth, James, Sydney, Doug, and Andy. Those are all 7 of his children. As I said, he will lie in state in the U.S. Capitol, and we just thank him for serving the majority of his life for this country and all that he has given. Rest in peace to John McCain. All right, so the funeral for John McCain is tomorrow. We have the funeral for Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, today. It is in Detroit, and we can expect all of the fanfare that should surround someone such as Aretha Franklin. They have the program scheduled. I looked at the program schedule, and it goes from 9:30 to 3 p.m. That is what they have set aside for the honoring and tribute to the Queen. And much like the Whitney Houston funeral, it's going to be aired on TV all day today. I'm sure it'll be streamed everywhere. I saw that BET officially will be the ones that will be showing the funeral, but like I said, I'm sure it's going to be on many channels. Yes, all of the fanfare that we can expect. We saw that she also has been having memorials and viewings of her body all this week. And we've all seen the pictures of the Queen in her gold casket with her red beaded dress on and her Louboutins with her feet crossed. You know, I just smiled to myself. I said, honey, Aretha said, even in death, okay, you gonna know who she is. They said that she had an outfit change for the second day of her viewing, but they didn't have pictures of that out. They said that it was plenty of people outside of the memorial. I just saw pictures just now before I started doing this video of the pink Cadillacs, the Mary Kay pink Cadillacs, and others who are just trying to make sure that they are there to represent and support and show love for the Queen. So yes, it is going to be something else. Okay, there's a plethora of choirs and orchestras slated to perform throughout the day. We have many preachers and clergy such as T.D. Jakes and Bishop B.A. Brooks. Politicians will be there. The mayor of Detroit, Mike Dugan. The governor of Michigan, Rick Snyder. We even expect President Bill Clinton to speak at the funeral. You have activists there speaking, Al Sharpton, Michael Eric Dyson. We have entertainers, Tyler Perry, Cicely Tyson. And then we have performances, you guys, from Faith Hill, Vanessa Bell Armstrong, Shirley Caesar, Tasha Cobb, Shaka Khan, Ron Isley, Fantasia, Smokey Robinson, Marvin Sapp, Jennifer Hudson, Jennifer Holliday, Stevie Wonder. Okay, all of this and even more. Okay, I'm just giving you guys the names that stood out, and all of these people and speakers will promise to take this funeral to about 7 o'clock tonight. Child, it is gonna be a whole I remember watching the Whitney Houston funeral, and when I tell you that was an all-day affair, I mean, I literally remember sitting at my dining room table. It's so funny, I was also reading Hunger Games at the same time. I don't know why all this is sticking out in my mind, but I was at the dining room table with my iPad and just watching the funeral of Whitney Houston all day long. Okay, so we can imagine that with the catalog and the extreme love and respect that Aretha Franklin has from people all over this world, this funeral, this memorial, this tribute will be long and involved. So I know many of you guys are very sad that you weren't able to make it there to the memorial. Many of us didn't get there to view her body, or go to any of the concerts that were scheduled all over. So you guys don't worry about it though, see, because Rocky got you. I done held on to my tribute, and it's fitting that I would do this video on the actual day of the memorial, so I can then lend my talents to you guys and give you a little rendition of one of my favorite Aretha Franklin songs that was out in the I guess it was the 80s, was it? Okay, and I think I've told you guys plenty of times that this is one of my favorite Aretha Franklin songs. It would be Jump to It. Do you guys know that one? Okay, all right. So, if you would just allow me to prepare, I'm going to give you just a little smidgen, just a little rendition of Jump to It by your queen, Aretha Franklin. Y'all hear that? That's the music I did for you in the background. Clap on along. Jump, jump, jump to it, hey, baby, baby, my baby loves me, he told me that, and I'll never question that point of fact. There is no fighting, scandal or shame. He really moves me, drives me insane. Look at here, y'all. I can't talk to you now, girl. I got love to get. My baby calls, I gotta jump to it. I'm in a hurry, got love to get. My baby calls, I jump, jump, jump to it. And then my very favorite part, you guys. When my baby calls, shum dibby long tweeter. When my baby calls, hey, you guys should see it's a whole bunch of people sitting there right outside my car. I know they probably looking like, what the fuck is going on? Let me guys just give y'all a quick little can you see all these people, child? They will not go away. But you know what? The show must go on because we got to do it for old Riri. Okay, so yeah, I just gave y'all a little bit, just a little bit of what you can expect at the tribute today. If you are watching the if you guys are watching the funeral today, you know, you can expect that and more. And I tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing many of the people there singing. I think they got a good representation of folks that can do justice to an Aretha Franklin song. So, yeah, all day today, you guys, it will be on. And if hopefully you will get a chance to celebrate in the memory and the love of this woman who has given so much to us musically, has affected many lives. Okay, she is finally being laid to rest today, and that's a beautiful thing. And I'm sure next week we'll probably be talking about it even more. Rest in peace to our girl Aretha Franklin. I'm sure it promises to be a fantastic show. Alright, rock stars, congratulations are in order to the Democratic representative for the race for governor in Florida, Andrew Gillum. He will be the first black man to run for governor in Florida, and we are hoping that everyone goes out and represents in November to put this man in office. It was a big push. People were really trying to get him this you know, to be this candidate, and it paid off. Now, I hate to put a damper on something that should be celebrated. However, we must talk about the idiot by the name of Ron DeSantis, or DeSantis, I guess his name is, who had the nerve to get on national television the other day, voiced his displeasure with Andrew Gillum being the person to represent the Democratic Party, and saying how the nation and Florida specifically could not afford to monkey this up by putting him in office. And you do not have to be a rocket scientist to peep out the underhanded, low-key, and really high-key racism in that statement. Yeah, monkey it up is a well-known statement, but when you put it in the context of something that you're talking about like this, then we can't help but look at it racially. Okay, the motherfucker knew what he was saying, knew what he was doing, and this is his sly and underhanded way of saying that, you know, oh no, I didn't mean it like that. Okay, this is another opportunity for us black people to look like we are too sensitive, and how we can take anything as simple as a well-known saying and make it seem like they are saying something bad about us. But that's exactly what it is here. And when I saw that, I was just like, God, I mean, just blatantly, you can get on national television and say something like this. We know that when people are trying to be disrespectful to the black race, that they call us monkeys. That has been established. So we can't give him a slide on this one. No, black people are not being sensitive. He said what he said. He meant what he meant. And in short, what he is saying is we can't have a black nigga up in the damn office running the whole state as governor that has been read all this time. This should make people want to get out even more and prove him wrong. It's interesting because both Florida and Georgia have two black candidates that are running for governor. Stacey Abrams here in Georgia, who is a black woman, which adds even that much more difficulty, you know, that much more level of difficulty to winning, but it is not impossible. Everybody has to get out there and represent now. The part of me that is the pessimist, the part of me that has been living in this country for damn near 48 years will tell you that I want to see if this can happen. These are two notoriously red states. This is the Bible Belt. It is plenty of, you know, we think of Georgia and we think of Atlanta, but no, it's a whole bunch of other parts of Georgia that is quite racist and stuck in that old way of thinking. So, you know, I don't want to shake my head and say I don't see it happening, but I'm telling you, we just gonna see. That's the best that I can do. Like I said, it's not impossible, so hopefully these people, everybody out, will get out and vote in November, because it is time to start having people who look like us in damn office. Okay, let's start there, and then hopefully we can get somebody that actually represents and will look out for our best interests. That's the plan anyway. That's the goal, and it has to start somewhere. And so let's get Andrew and Stacey and these other people, women, and there's some transgender folks that are running out there, gay people, you know, Asian people. Oh, it just needs to be a full representation and not just the good old boy white network of the governors and the senators and things like that. So yeah, that did piss me off though. And yo stupid ass president, of course, is always going to get out there and still say something ignorant about Andrew Gillum. We're not going to make it about him. We're not going to make it about him, you guys. So we just going to say congratulations to Andrew Gillum. I understand that he's a FAMU alumni. Congratulations to him and his beautiful family. Hopefully they will bring it all home in November. Child, these people still standing outside my car talking. Oh. So California is the first state to get rid of the cash bond system. Okay, Governor Jerry Brown signed the bill into law a few days ago, and it will go into act, I believe they said October of 2019. They expect this law to level the playing field for both the rich and the poor. People who are waiting for trial for nonviolent type of offenses, they will now be released. Okay, before, if you were arrested, the judge had the judge would decide whether or not you were going to have a cash bond attached to your case. There were just simply times when people did not have the money to post bail, post bond, or whatever it's called. So there would be people who notoriously were poor people who would be sitting in jail for nonviolent offenses that they haven't even been tried for, and those who did have the money, or those who had family who were around enough to maybe mortgage their home, or, you know, do whatever they have to do to get these people out of jail, then those people were free. But if it's a nonviolent offense, then the governor is saying that money should not go into the consideration. The key word here is nonviolent. So people who were having felony acts of violence, misdemeanor domestic violence, sexual assaults, and other certain crimes, they will not be eligible for this you know, act of mercy, I guess you could call it. And I'm sure it has something to do also with the overcrowding of the prisons in California and them not being able to put these people anywhere. There's many reasons to why they are doing this. However, it's going to help many people out. Of course, there are some that are against this and feeling like, you know, if they are a criminal, whether it's violent or non-violent, you know, if they're supposed to go to jail, then they need to be in jail. But, you know, others are saying that it has never been fair for those who couldn't afford to post the bond. So you guys, let me know what you think about it. Do you feel that this is something that needed to be done and that more states need to look into? Or do you believe that it's all a part of being a criminal, and if you do the crime, then you should pay the time, and that might be monetarily or with your physical being in jail? So you guys let me know exactly how you feel about that. But yeah, California is the first, and we'll see if many other states follow suit. All right, rock stars, so let's talk about Kanye. I listened to his interview, the whole interview, on the WCGI radio, a radio station in Chicago. It was the interview that brought Kanye West home. That was the general feel of this interview, that they wanted Kanye West to be able to come in there and say exactly what was on his mind, and in the comfort of Chicago, which has been his home and who has always had his back. The interview was actually pretty good. Kanye is so difficult. He's so convoluted and gets on my nerves quite a bit. But when you get to actually sit and listen to the way that he speaks, it just, you know, y'all know Rocky is softy. It's hard for me to just completely throw Kanye West away. Okay, I've never canceled him, but yes, I have had moments where I just had to be done with him for the, you know, for that time. One of them, of course, being that time when he said about slavery, and him, you know, I felt like he was trolling, and, you know, all of that. So we get a very understated and calm Kanye West in this interview, and it was a good interview. Many things I can understand what he's saying. Other parts I don't agree with. I think that the whole issue with Kanye West and this Donald Trump situation, I feel like, and I think I've even said this before, I feel like Kanye West doesn't necessarily believe in the politics that y'all stupid ass president spews. I think that Kanye West is more in this way of thinking that he doesn't want to go along with the idea of groupthink, that so many people hate Donald Trump that it must be because we're all conditioned to think the same way and believe the same thing, and so he doesn't want to be a part of that. So he separates himself from that, okay, regardless of the fact that Donald Trump has never proven to be here for the black people, minorities, gays, Latinas, women, you know, handicapped. Okay, regardless of the fact that Donald Trump has never seemed to be there for those people, Kanye West doesn't think about Kanye West doesn't necessarily think about that. All he thinks in his mind is because everybody seems to not like him, then he's going to go against it. He's going to go opposite of that because he's not a part of this group thing. He's a free thinker. He's, you know, he knows that he can't be bothered with what everybody else is. It's sort of just like him going against the grade. He's one of those people who just doesn't want to be what everybody else is. And so that is the problem that I have with him. He won't ever address the fact that Donald Trump is not here for black people. When they asked him, did he feel like Donald Trump has really helped, you know, or is really here to help black people? His answer was he feels like Donald Trump wants black people to like him, and he knows that he cannot be considered the greatest president of all time if black people don't have his support. Okay, so in other words, it's a popularity contest, and he doesn't necessarily have to do anything for black people as long as black people like him. Okay, so you know, and even that doesn't make sense because we're not gonna like somebody that ain't trying to help us at all. Okay, you know, he did go on about this whole issue of groupthink and how I will admit that as a black community, we almost had raised President Barack Obama to the point of sainthood, and probably idolized him, just kind of looked at him as he could do no wrong, as if he was perfect. Okay, yeah, there may have been some level of groupthink because as black people, we was just happy to see a black man in the damn office. So I can understand where he says that, you know, many of us weren't even, you know, many of us are ignorant to some of the mistakes that Barack Obama made because we just so busy happy that a black person is in there. Okay, so I get what he was saying. You know, you don't necessarily have to love President Barack Obama to see that Donald Trump is not what is needed for this country. And that's the part that I don't think that Kanye West sees. I think he just feels like because he's just so not necessarily happy with the presidential terms of Barack Obama that now he's just got to jump on this bandwagon of, you know, doing something different. And then he kind of surrounds it about being around. He surrounds it about like just thinking differently and getting the conversation started that way. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's kind of what I got out of the interview. As far as the slave comment, he did a good job of explaining how that all went left quite quickly. He admitted that he does have mental health issues, that he's been diagnosed as, you know, bipolar, having bipolarism, and he was in this mode where he was already kind of feeling attacked at TMZ, or it was a hostile environment. And he says, and what, you know, a lot of people need to understand is when you already have this bipolarism, you know, you can easily be taken there if the right buttons are pushed. So he felt like the environment was already kind of hostile, and so he was already ramped up, he was already revved up, and then he said something that he possibly did not mean. But he was in this other state. He's not blaming it on bipolarism, but he's just trying to explain that this is just something that happens sometimes. And he apologized because he realized that he hurt a lot of people. And I thought that the apology was sincere. And, you know, they had an emotional moment in there where one of the DJs, I don't know their name, so I'm sorry, but the female DJ that was in there, you know, she started crying. And at first I was just like, oh God, girl, don't start crying. But, you know, as she actually started really expressing herself, you know, she was saying that she did accept his apology because she just needs him to understand that he has this voice, that is this platform that is just so widely known, and that people listen to him. So he has a greater responsibility, and I think that he kind of understood that when they were sitting there. Okay, and she wasn't the only one that was trying to tell him that. They were also saying that, the guys in there, but she had and got emotional, and it seemed to have affected him. And Kanye says that he realizes that there are some things that he needs to go back to. He says, you know, sometimes when you're this celebrity and you're in this bubble, you forget that what you say could affect a lot of people, that people rely on you, that people love you, that people trust you. And the Kanye West that we had back in the late registration and, you know, graduation and all those days, you know, he kind of forgot that we relied on, you know, not necessarily relied on him because he's not no leader in that sense, but we always thought that he was with us. Okay, and then with this shit, with the Trump thing and, you know, the slave comment, is just like, we didn't know what to think of him anymore. And he said, you know, he lost sight of that, so he's trying to go back to, you know, he said that he's got these, you know, some people around him. I keep forgetting what, I can't remember what the guy's name who was in his camp before, but, you know, he told him, like, I need you back with me, you know, so this kind of shit doesn't happen. Like, you know, he needs people who originally had his back, who knows Kanye, who is going to guide him and not let him get out there and just be wilding out. Okay, and that's when he had his breakdown, and he started crying because, you know, it's a lot. And he was saying he has a lot on him. He has, you know, people pitting him against other rappers and beefs, and, you know, people coming after his family, and, you know, him trying to create, you know, his businesses, and his just being this celebrity who just wants to create this music, and just everybody pulling at him from different places. So I was able to understand what he was saying in the interview. And like I said, certain things about Kanye I definitely understand. Other parts I don't agree with. But that's what makes us human. Nobody is perfect, right? So that's why I can't never just 100% throw Kanye away. He says that he's trying to do, he says that he's, you know, got big plans for Chicago, because, you know, everybody is saying that, you know, he's not doing as much as Chance the Rapper, and who's this other guy? Was it Victor Cruz or something that just gave, you know, and all of these other people who are from Chicago, who've done so much for the community. And he says, look, I'm not trying to help, okay, I'm trying to solve. So he's out there supposedly talking to these big names and really trying to make things happen where there is positive and permanent changes for the city. Okay, now only time will tell. And I hope that he is sincere and is genuine, and that is really something that is going to happen for Chicago, and that Kanye can be the one to make it happen for that city, because he is really the biggest representation of Chicago right now. And all eyes are on him, and not in the most positive way. So, like it or not, he's been put into this place of responsibility for the city. I don't know if it's always, you know, fair to do this to celebrities, but it happens. So he seems to be comfortable in the spot and trying to do something. So we'll just see. But the interview, you guys should listen to it. It's an hour long. And I thought that the interviewers, the DJs, they did a very good job of letting him get his thoughts out, not crowding him, not making him get into a defensive mode. Yeah, so you guys let me know, if you listened to the interview, what you felt. Did it change your feelings about Kanye West? Were you able to understand him a little bit more, or is he still canceled for you? Okay, let me know. Alright, Rockstar, so this happened on the first day of the Beyonce and Jay-Z On the Run 2 tour here in Atlanta. And we all know about it. It's already said and done, but I'll just talk about it real quickly. Okay, as J and B ended their concert, and they were walking hand in hand backstage like we always see them do in the clips that have been posted all over social media. A 26-year-old boy by the name of Anthony Charles Thomas Maxwell not only was able to get up on stage, but he made a beeline, darted for the couple, and they say as Jay-Z and Beyonce almost got off stage, he was able to make contact with Jay-Z. Some people saying that he even pushed Jay-Z, but that was pretty much it, because the security and the backup dancers all went and attacked him. Okay, and rightfully so. I still don't understand how this man was able to get up on stage. You know, even as entertainers, I don't care who it is. That stage should be your place. And you should never be put in danger where somebody like that can get so close to you. I mean, do you guys understand that he could have killed them? He could have slit their necks. He could have stabbed them. I mean, ain't no telling. It don't take but a minute for these things to happen. So for him to be able to get up there is troubling, right? But luckily enough, he was not able to do any damage. The backup dancers didn't do as much damage as I thought they should have, because we've seen his mugshot, and in my opinion, he still looks too good. Okay, he needed his ass whooped for that. I guess the team kept it professional, you know, ain't nobody trying to have no lawsuits and all of that. But yeah, he definitely needed his ass whooped for that. Now, at first they gave him a ticket for just disorderly conduct, but then once they realized that there was contact made, they charged him, pressed charges for simple battery. They're saying that Jay-Z and Beyonce did not press charges, but that the police have taken, you know, taken the taken the reins and went on and pressed charges themselves. He was able to post bail. I think they said it was $500. He got out on Monday, and then he gets on social media and he's taunting, you know, you pussy ass niggas hit like bitches, and you know, niggas gonna jump me and all of this, you know, and I still look good, you know, they still couldn't touch my swag, whatever the fuck that means. Okay, lets you know that the mentality is limited. He don't even seem like he, you know, I guess he just wanted the I don't know what he was trying to do. Okay, I still wonder, what was he trying to do? That question has never been answered. But yeah, to me, he just got off, you know, he just got off easy. Beyonce and Jay-Z went on with their lives, and they had their concert the next day. You know, we saw when they were walking out this time, you know, Beyonce turned around. You know, she has a cute little sense of humor. You know, she looks like, you know, who on it, you know, and do she do a little karate kick, and, you know, they laugh and all of that. And they're just going to put it behind them. But yeah, it's like, motherfuckers ain't got time to be up on stage trying to entertain you guys and putting my fucking life in danger. Okay, because if I'm trying to do something for y'all, I need y'all to have my back and keep these crazy ass people off of the stage. I was frustrated for them, but everything is okay, and I'm sure they stepped that security up around the stages from here on out. That Anthony Charles Thomas Maxwell was lucky, if you ask me, because he needed to get beat down. All right, you guys, and then two stories in the sports world. First, let's talk about Serena Williams and the fact that the French Open had a problem with her cat suit that she played in the other day. The French Tennis Federation President Bernard Guidicelli, I believe his name is, that sounds like it's Italian, so I'm probably saying it wrong, but he basically said that, you know, her outfit went too far and that there should still be some respect for the game and the place. People were mad, saying that his comment was saying that she's disrespectful of this sport because of her presence. Like, what are you trying to say here? What has she done that's disrespectful other than showing up and dominating in the sport? Okay, we have seen other people. There's one player in particular, a white woman, white blonde-haired woman with a white cat suit on, who was, I guess, in the French Open. I don't know what her name is, but I saw the picture and they compared it to the Serena Williams picture, where you have this dark-skinned black girl in this black cat suit, and all of a sudden it's a problem. We already know what it is. Serena Williams, Venus Williams have been picked apart publicly for the way that they look, the way that they dress, the way that their hair is in the tennis world for their entire careers. So they're used to it. And Serena Williams, you know, she didn't even, you know, she's real easygoing. She never, ever feeds into any of the negativity that comes her way being in this white dominated sport. She just said, well, you know, they have a right to feel it the way they did, and if they say that she can't wear the cat suit, then she won't wear the cat suit. Okay, that don't mean she ain't gonna win. Still, fuck, I can perform naked and win. Okay, she comes in a tutu for the next couple of days, you know, and they couldn't say anything about that. But yeah, it's just another one of those times, you guys. Another one of those times. Okay, the cat suit. We know that Serena Williams has issues with blood clotting. She said that she's had numerous blood clots over the last year, you know, too many to even try to tell you guys, and that suit was actually there to help her blood keep it circulating. So it was not necessarily just a look that she was trying to have. but also something that was going to be beneficial to her health. And I honestly didn't think that the suit was all that terrible. I mean, I've seen them wear something to me that was a little bit even more risque, you know? So I didn't, you know, I didn't understand. And I actually was very happy that Nike stood behind her and said that, you know, you can take the cape off of the superhero, okay, but they still the damn superhero. And that's how we look at Serena Williams. She is a woman that we can admire because she always remains dignified. She always proves herself on the court, whether she wins or loses. Okay, she doesn't lose often, but she is always gracious. She is always polished. She is a great representation of the black woman. So I'm gonna have to give her the fist pump of righteousness. No matter what they do to you, Serena girl, okay, you just keep on doing what you do. Okay, they gonna be mad regardless, but we can't worry about that. Winners is always gonna be winners, and haters always gonna hate. And then, you guys, let's talk about Colin Kaepernick, who won in the arbitration court. You know, he has this grievance case against the NFL saying that they colluded to keep him from being signed to any team. This is all 32 NFL teams that colluded to pretty much keep him out of the game, and all because of the fact that, you know, he kneeled, and they feel that it was disrespectful to the flag. They were in arbitration, and the arbitrator representative said, you know, unless the NFL and Colin Kaepernick can come to some sort of settlement, this case will go to court because they weren't able to prove that they didn't collude to keep this man out of the game. In short, it looks like Colin Kaepernick, that was a victory for him, that, you know, he can go to court and prove that, you know, they all pretty much shut the door on him, so that he was never going to be able to play in the NFL again. And we all know that's what they did. That is what they did, okay? But he has to prove it now in court, and hopefully he will be successful. So Colin Kaepernick 1, NFL 0 is the score as of now. Keep your head up, Colin Kaepernick. Lastly, in quickies, you guys, first let's talk about Cardi B. Okay, made a series of mistakes this week. I don't know who approved Cardi B doing this skit that probably won't make the light of day, but evidently Cardi B was in some skit that I guess was going to be on Wild 'N Out. Am I right about that? Or not necessarily Wild 'N Out, but something that has to do with Nick Cannon, where she is playing Coretta Scott King. It's supposed to be a skit about the wives of these civil rights activists, basically saying some just out-of-pocket shit. You know, Coretta Scott King, in this case being Cardi B, saying that she don't care, you know, what her man do out there, he always coming home to her. And just in poor taste, especially in this climate, people are not joking about things like this. And for Cardi B to be in this spot right now where, you know, everybody is just really feeling her wave, like, this is just stupid. And I realize that they have really tried to quiet that. It was not, at least I didn't see it on the Shade Room. I didn't see it on Baller Alert, or maybe it was there, but it just wasn't talked about much. There were other smaller places that were talking about it, but I didn't see it on any of those things because I think they're just hoping that they can just get it to go away. She did apologize to the King family, and she should have, but it was just like, who told you to do that anyway? Where did you think that that was funny? Just some things is just, you just can't play with. And definitely not in today. So that was a stupid mistake. Then I got word yesterday that she's out here fighting one of Offset's ex-girlfriends, or Offset's not ex-girlfriend, some side hoe that Offset was messing with. This is the friend who works as a bartender at some strip club, and Cardi B shows up there to fight her, or at least confront the girl. And the girl is saying that she didn't cheat with Offset, and Offset that had nothing to do with him. And you know, then I heard that maybe she was fighting her because it had something to do with, you know, some old beef, that her Star Brim, what's the girl's name, her friend that's in jail, that it has something to do with her, and just an old beef before Cardi even became, you know, Cardi B. Whatever it is, I need you to understand your place right now. All right, you not just Cardi B, just some stripper who is fighting, you know, bitches for saying some slick shit or doing some slick shit with your man. Like, you are Cardi B now. You can't afford to be fighting people. These motherfuckers will sue you for everything that you got. You will be wasting money. You know, you gonna jeopardize deals. And, you know, people get real skittish and antsy when they see the niggerific antics. Like, they start pulling back and pulling out. And I don't give a fuck if she's a rapper, okay? She's a female rapper. And these companies and shit don't want to see you out here fighting. And, you know, it's just, what the fuck? She needs somebody to get her back under control. Now, you a mama now. You got a whole baby out there, you know, that you need to live and work for now. You know, it's just time to start moving differently. She close to getting moved, you know, to loving her from a distance. We just can't let you out here acting a goddamn fool. And that's how you acting. So do better. We're going to need Cardi to do better. And lastly, congratulations are in order to Safari, who has landed a 7-figure sex toy deal. Okay, they said that he has this deal with the biggest sex toy, adult toy maker, Doc Johnson, who's been around for over 40 years, they say, and is the premier hand-making sex toy company out there. Yeah, they saw Safari's package, and some people say it's not all that big, and it may not necessarily be all that big, but it is a very nice looking it is nice, real nice. And they have decided to mass produce his unit. You're gonna be able to pre-order it in December. Okay, so around Christmas you can start the pre-orders, and then it will be shipped out and sent to you right in time for Valentine's Day. So you can have a good ass time with Safari. And good for Safari, who, you know, even though we talk about him being corny and all, there is something about Safari that we all like. Something about him that is endearing. And even with all the drama that he gets involved in, and, you know, the shit on his name from his ex-girlfriend and, you know, other people, Safari always seems to land on his feet. Okay, and like Ray J told him, you know, you can stay in the house and hide your face, or you can put on your shoes and go outside and get paid. And that's what he did. Congratulations to Safari. Seven figures. That's at least $1 million for a dick. Okay, I ain't mad. I ain't mad at all. Do this every single week. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure that you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.